Welcome back. Welcome to Lesson 5, Physiology 2. In this second video clip, we go into more detail regarding information capturing.
Ever thought about how you think? How do thoughts flow around in your brain?
What is the actual physical process? This is a neuron. It is the basic building block of how our brain works. The brain has over 1 billion neurons or brain cells, which interconnect in small isolated pockets when you think, understand, and learn new things. The dendrites receive information in the form of an electrochemical impulse that contains data. The data is then transformed and saved as a three-dimensional image in the soma or body of the brain cell. This information then travels down the axon to the presynaptic terminals. During the process of associating new knowledge with stored data, the presynaptic terminals connect to other brain cells to form an engram. An engram is a pocket of information that exists together because you have made connections and associations with pre-existing knowledge of that same subject. That's why the data gets stored together and linked together so that you can recall it in that way. If you associate new information with existing information and understand the new knowledge, presynaptic terminals will form between this newly acquired information and existing data or engrams. If the presynaptic terminals do not form, you will not be able to retrieve the new information at a later stage, because this new information will be stored as loose standing information without connections to your database.
If we think, we become aware of certain information that is stored, and if we think of something else, the original thoughts fade away. How does this happen? The answer lies in the synapse.
The synapse is where the presynaptic terminal attaches itself to another neuron's dendrite, which is the first step in creating a new engram of thought or stored information. The space between the presynaptic terminal's ending and the dendrite wall of another neuron is called the synapse. It is actually a gap and not an object, and when this space is filled with neurotransmitter fluid, it forms a bridge for the impulse to cross over from one neuron to another, and you become aware of that information that is stored in that neuron. The synapse is like a switch. When the switch is off, there is no fluid in the gap. When the switch is on, the gap is filled with fluid. When the gap is filled with fluid, awareness can travel from one cell to another. This can only be true if the neurons are interconnected with presynaptic terminals. Remember, presynaptic terminals only form if you understand something. This interconnection of neurons with presynaptic terminals is called an engram. Once an engram has formed, that group of knowledge or data stays in your brain forever.
The synapse is also partly responsible for your sanity. They allow us access only to the pieces of information we need at one particular time.
Imagine if all your thoughts in your brain were activated simultaneously. You would experience an electrical blowout in your brain.
In the next lesson, I will explain how this comes together.